Frankenmuth with winter creeping right around the corner. Everyone's getting in the Christmas spirit. People come here to enjoy riverboat tours, horse and carriage rides, shopping, fudge making, and much, much more.
The city of Frankenmuth was settled in 1845 and started out with just 15 settlers. The name Frankenmuth was chosen by the German settlers because Franken was the province in which they came from, and Muth means courage in German.
When you put the two together, it means the courage of the Franconians. Let's take a deeper look into Frankenmuth's early history.
The story of Frankenmuth actually originated with Michigan circuit riders who served the communities in the southern portion of Michigan in the early 1840s. One of them was a man named Friedrich Winniken. Winniken wrote a letter over to Germany asking for help in bringing the gospel to the Chippewa Indians then living in this area. The man who was selected to lead the expedition was a pastor by the name of August Creamery. When Creamery came here, the year was 1845. He settled here in the Frankenmuth area, and he established contact with the Chippewa Indians, who were led by a chief by the name of Pemasaki. They embarked from the northern part of Germany, the port of Bremerhaven, and they sailed on a sailing ship called the Caroline. As they began their journey across the sea, they had very rough weather. They could not go south around England. They had to go north. And as they went north around England, the winds carried them over around the northern coast of Scotland. They encountered icebergs. Most of the passengers became seasick. They suffered collisions with another ship in the heavy, dense fog north of Scotland. And as they came on near Ireland and down on the western side of Ireland, smallpox broke out among the ship. The original settlers that headed over there were actually 14 in the original group. One of them was a young girl, 2 years old. She was the daughter of the only married couple in the group. As they came across the ocean, the young child, along with most of the rest of the passengers, contacted smallpox, and she died just as they were approaching Long Island. It was a rather sad beginning of their start in America. The first settlement was made in the area where our St. Lawrence Church is now located. There's a picture of the St. Lawrence Church over here. That was where the first clearing was made. The actual town of Frankenmuth developed about 2 miles upstream from that location because it was in this area of downtown Frankenmuth that the banks were sufficiently equal height so they could put a dam across to build their mill, which served both to grind grain and also as a sawmill. The early settlers depended to a great extent on the bounty of the land. They came here in August of the year. It was too late for them to plant crops that year. Most all the people in Frankenmuth were interrelated. Many of them descended from those first settlers that came over here. Many of those names are still familiar in the community today. An interesting thing I would point out is in the wedding picture, you see there the bride is wearing black. The custom of Franconia was for the brides to wear black. The floods were very bad here in this area. The Cass River flooded virtually every spring. The area where the hotels are located today was almost always underwater in the spring. Saginaw, of course, was the center of the Michigan lumber era, and the Cass River was also one of the rivers which was used to float the logs down. We had a large sawmill here in Frankenmuth. The picture you see here is called a wanagan, which is a cook shanty. And you can see they were not called lumberjacks. Many people think that they were called lumberjacks. The proper term is shanty boys. And they were called shanty boys because of the shanty that served as the cook shack that they actually lived on that area during the drives. The original intent of the community coming over here was to, of course, spread the gospel to the Indians. The Chippewa Indian children were actually brought to live with the pastor and his wife in their log cabin. Here you see the pastor's wife, Mrs. Kramer. He met her on board ship. They were married as soon as they landed in New York City, and she came on to Frankenmuth with the group, bringing the total then to 15. She had her son with her, so that brought the total to 15. You can see her there teaching a young Indian boy. Most of the teaching would have taken place outdoors. The cabins were very small and would have been used only primarily for shelter in very harsh weather. The people spent as much time outdoors as they could, and there you can see the young Indian boy studying the Bible, which was translated into the Chippewa language.
Great.
Rather interestingly, you can see the logs used in the walls there are less than a foot. Many larger trees were available. As a matter of fact, the trees were a nuisance in the area. The farmers had to get rid of the trees so that they could farm, and they needed to farm to support the community and the mission. So the logs that were used would typically be squared off, hand-hewn logs. The settlers used most of the things that they used, if at all possible, they made by hand, and of course the most plentiful product in the area was wood. The metal items they would have brought with them would have been relatively few. You can see on the wall there a double-bitted axe. The axes brought by the original settlers had only one bit, but as soon as they got to Michigan, they determined that the double-bitted axes were much better because it kept the axe sharp for twice as long. The wood items you see, the ox yoke there is the large wooden item. That would have been hand-carved. You can see the scythe, that is actually called a cradle. With those long fingers, when they cut the grain, that would hold the grain so it didn't fall down onto the ground. The basket up in the corner would have been something that they probably would have traded with the Indians to get. The chest they would have brought with them. The baby cradle, of course, is wood. The tables are wood. The stools, the chairs, the boxes, all these items are made out of wood. One of the more interesting items, they took one of the larger trees and hollowed it out, and that provided them with a clothes closet, also made entirely out of wood.
The Historical Museum was absolutely an amazing experience. You would never think that Frankenmuth had so much meaning and such an interesting early history. If you want to add a little seriousness into your trip to Frankenmuth, make a stop at the Historical Museum.
Another place we were fortunate enough to visit was Bronner's Christmas Wonderland. Bronner's is the largest Christmas store in the entire world. Located on the same property is the Silent Night Memorial Chapel. This is another famous stop that must be added to your list when shopping in Frankenmuth.
The largest Christmas store in the world is also located here in Frankenmuth. Bronner's is open over 361 days a year and gets over 2 million customers each year.
If you're looking for variety or originality, Bronner's is the place to visit. It has over 50,000 varieties of Christmas decorations, also from 75 nations. I'm fortunate today to be speaking with Mr. Wally Bronner, the creator and originator of Bronner's, the largest Christmas store in the world. First off, Mr. Bronner, I'd just like to say thank you for joining us today.
Well, what a delight to see Kim, the Trenton Trojan, and congratulations also on that terrific football team.
Do you do good business outside of the Christmas season?
Yes, business goes on here 12 months of the year. We're open 361 days, and you might say, how can you sell Christmas decorations 12 months of the year. I thought at one time, well, we'll just be busy during the month of December, only to find out that now we're open and busy 13 months of the year. On the serious side, people that plan Christmas decorations for a community, let's say, for example, Trenton, Michigan, they know they need time to put the amount into the budget for the city or the Chamber of Commerce. So some of those cities come here in January, February, March to see what's new, what savings they might affect. Others that are planning for parks and shopping centers, they also come earlier in the year. Then we have many stores who resell our decorations. They come the early part of the year. And people that are hobbyists, they also come in summer and during vacation time. And then there's many people from the press and media and television, just like you, that come here. And somehow or other, there's 2 million people that visit us during the course of the year. And even though we say there's never any charge to get into Bronner's, some people say, yes, but it could cost to get out.
Now, we all know that you're open 361 days a year. What 4 days aren't you open every year?
Well, everybody needs a little rest. So first of all, New Year's Day, and then would be Easter Day, as well as U.S. Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. And we are also closed for 3 hours on Good Friday between noon and 3 o'clock.
We know that Frankenmuth has a lot of German roots in it. It's called Little Bavaria, Michigan's own Little Bavaria. Do you speak German or any other foreign language?
Ja, ich kann Deutsch essen, lesen und schreiben. Yes, I know the German language, and I know a touch of Italian and a touch of Spanish. And I can also, what shall we say, burp. Maybe about 10 to 20 words in 50 languages. If you want to test me, I can try it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bronner. It's been a pleasure interviewing you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken.
Bronner's is a beautiful store with so many types of decorations for the home, work, or community. I highly recommend visiting this store any time of the year. Here's a sneak peek at what you may encounter on your trip to Bronner's Christmas Wonderland.
The Silent Night Memorial Chapel was built in 1992 by Wally and Irene Bronner and family. The chapel is an expression of gratitude towards God and the world-famous Christmas hymn.
The peaceful chapel interior has a walk-through area from where visitors can view the chancel and see many special artifacts that are representative of those found in the Silent Night Memorial Chapel in Austria. Beautiful stained glass windows add to the serene atmosphere. The chapel is topped by a brilliant gold star, which is fully illuminated at night. The octagonal-shaped building is nestled at the southern tip of Bronner's property. It is an inspirational landmark and absolutely enchanting to visit. On the chapel grounds, there are plaques with one verse of Stille Nacht, Silent Night, in nearly 300 different languages.
The idea of the Silent Night Chapel originated in Wally Bronner's mind in 1972 while visiting Aubensdorf, Austria. This is where the original Silent Night Chapel rests. The Silent Night Chapel is nestled at the southern tip of Bronner's property.
If you begin to get hungry, take a stop at Frankenmuth, Creamery and Cheese Factory. From dips to cheese to noodles and chicken seasoning, they have an item for everyone.
Frankenmuth Creamery and Cheese Factory. Obviously, the building's very big, so the variety must be large also. Right now, Kim's inside testing the new holiday line. Let's go in and join her.
I'm here in Frankenmuth at the Creamery and Cheese Factory, and I'm joined by Ms. Carol Voss and Mr. Mike Keys. And first off, when did this establishment open, and whom opened it?
Well, actually, it opened up as Frankenmuth Cheese Factory. It was a 1989 when it first started and opened up, and we took it over and about 3 years later and continued to develop the process.
Okay, and what kind of processes take place daily here?
Well, we make our fudge here. We also, we own Frankenmuth Fundraising Corporation as part of our whole business complex. And we have our dips and different cheeses we'll make for those small ones, vats and them.
Okay, what are your most popular items throughout the year?
Well, it's seasonal. Cheese and our beef sticks sell all the time, and our great condiments, our gifts do well. But this time of year, it's the holiday season. It's time for everyone to celebrate. We have different things. Our dips are absolutely incredible, and they're all natural. They're fantastic, and this is our #1 selling item right now. People come in, they taste it, and what we taste, they love. It's on our fundraising brochure. It's just a tremendous item for us.
And how do you select the candy and cheeses that go out onto the market for the public?
Well, the cheeses are pretty predictable. People love it. We bring in some imports. We bring in some specialty. We try different things. Your basics, your Colby's, your cheddars are always the big ones. For the holiday season, people like to try a couple different kinds of our beef sausages. We have different flavors of that. So basically, we take a look at what people want. We try some different things, and I think people today like different items, and so we just keep bringing them in.
What are your countries that you import from?
From Denmark, we bring in from Italy, basic from Europe we bring. The American cheeses, though, have taken a different prominence today, and people love the American. It's a different taste. They love, we're Americanized.
Right. Are there any new items that are going to be coming out on the market for the Christmas season?
Well, our dips are our new items that we're bringing out. We have some spectacular dips, and Carol can explain all the different varieties and the different things that are coming out for the season, and it's perfect for the holiday.
Ms. Voss, what is coming out for the holidays this year?
Well, we have a wide selection of many flavored dips and seasonings that are perfect for the holiday season. And many of these dip mixes, as Mike said, they are natural and they have a very intense flavor. When they mix up with fresh ingredients, they become a very tasty and outstanding dip. And the holiday season is our most popular time to sell these because they mix so easily. They're ready to consume very quickly, and they're very popular at parties, and especially office parties.
Okay, I noticed you have an arrangement here. What do we have here?
Well, the one that we have closest to Mike is our sweet vanilla fruit dip, and that has a very intense vanilla flavor. We have a hand-blended 3-sugar mixing process, and then vanilla beans are added to give it a very nice flavor and aroma. And that goes really well with fruit and can also make very nice petit fours on vanilla wafers with some fresh fruit. And next we have the spinach dip, and even if you don't like spinach, you'll love this. It has a very nice mild flavor with a little bit of garlic. And it can either be dipped with pretzels or used more formally, as I have here, on some bread rounds. And then finally here we have a con queso dip, and this is a very nice mellow cheddar cheese mixed with garlic, green pepper, and onion flavoring, and this is super with tortilla chips. So we have something for everyone's palate.
Right. What is your personal favorite items here at the Candy Lane and Cheese Factory?
My favorite is the con queso.
The con queso?
Yeah, I do.
I love the spinach.
spinach.
It's every time we take it on our presentation to the schools, they love both of them, but this is our favorite. So I love spinach and I love the garlic, and it's great. And like you said, it's intense flavor. It doesn't stay with you, but they just love it at parties. And so, but her whole line is just incredible.
Now you did say these are all natural, correct?
They're all natural, right? And we don't skimp on the ingredients because I think people really like to taste the flavor. And it was important to me to be able to mix something up and have it ready to consume immediately because everyone wants to eat right away.
Now I noticed you have your dip mixes here. What are these about?
Oh, these are the same ones that are presented here in this display. And these dip mixes, the packets are what mix with cream cheese, sour cream or mayonnaise. And that's
Okay.
what creates the different dip mixes.
Okay, great. Next up, we're going to take a look at the fudge shop. Now, I noticed you also have candies here, and here's the fudges. Can you tell us a little bit about your candies and your fudges?
Yes. Well, first of all, they're made with all natural ingredients. We use cream, butter, and that's really the key. Sugars, everything is natural, and that's what, for flavor, for taste, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Okay. And what are some of your popular candies here?
Well, the chocolate pretzels are always famous for us down here. They love the caramels down on the other end down there, the mixed nuts. Everyone's got a different choice, but they all love it, and it just, you have to have variety in order to sell.
Okay. And your fudges here, what kinds do you have?
Well, we have peanut butter, we have maple, we have chocolate nut, we have Rocky Road, we have a combination of literally everything that's, imaginable back and forth. The peanut butter, the chocolate's always the favorite, and Rocky Road comes in third, so.
Right. I'm here with Mr. Don Marcus, who seems to be an avid fudge shopper here at the Creamery and Cheese Factory. He just ordered, what, 200 pounds? 200 pounds.
Right.
What's so special about the fudge here?
Well, I like it because it's all in one solid piece. I used to get to a place where they cut it in half, and it just didn't go over very well. Didn't keep very well.
And what do you do with all that fudge?
Well, I call on a lot of farm equipment and lawn and garden dealers in the state, and I've been doing it for quite a few years. And it's something to hand out at Christmas time.
Oh, it's Christmas gifts.
Right.
Right. Sounds like a great idea. What do you like? Is there something about the taste that you enjoy, or?
Well, mostly I think just the way it was packaged and the way it kept. It kept real well too.
Can you freeze it or anything?
I haven't frozen any, no. But I send some all the way to Canada, some to Georgia, some to North Dakota. So.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Could you also talk about your sugar-free line of candy that you have?
Yes, our sugar-free, it's funny, in the last 10 years, sugar-free started out about 2-3% of its total sales. Sugar-free is about 18% of our total sales now. Because as people get older, the chemistry changes for whatever reasons, so everybody jumps into the sugar-free line. They need it. It's absolutely spectacular, our sugar-free. It's something that the quality, our peanut butter, it's hard to tell that from the real in terms of it. But sugar-free is a very big part of our sales in any of the confectionery stores.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
The #1 spot in Michigan is not far from any point in Michigan, and the experience is worth it. I'm Carolyn Holloway.
And I'm Kim Bevel. To close our program, here once again is Mr. Wally Bronner with a special treat on how to say Merry Christmas in many languages. Happy shopping and have a Merry Christmas.
Christmas is very special. It's joy being expressed over the birth of Christ. And so then, Merry Christmas rings special to the ear, but then there are words who might sound strange to the ear, but yet to the heart so very dear. What do I mean by that? That means when you hear Feliz Navidad, many Spanish-speaking people will know that means Merry Christmas. The Italians say Buon Natale, while those from Portugal say Feliz Natal. Those from Romania say Fericite Serbatori, while those way up in Finland say Hauskajoloa. And the Swedes say God Jul. The Danish, they in turn say Gledelig Jul. And the French, they say Joyeux Noël. And sounds over the microphone. Somebody else is trying to inject the message, but hey, the page is off, and we'll continue with more. As the Russians say, Srastostvom Christovum, and the Armenians say, Shenur Havur Zurt Sanut. In Hungary, they say Boldo Karachny Inapeket, while the Czechs, they say Vesely Vanoche, and the Slovak Republic, the language there is Vesely Vianoche.